Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of DeLuSioNaL's Arcade. So we're on the road again. We haven't done these in a while, but this arcade hunting series, if you haven't checked it out, click on the link up here. It's a really exciting series that I like to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick up, hopefully, fingers crossed, a Millipede today. It looks really good. The guy sent me pictures. We're gonna go check it out in his storage unit and we're gonna see if we can pick it up and make a deal. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in the video.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Make me.
Okay, so this is Ian. We actually moved it out. What's up again?
How's it going?
So this is it. And I just wanted to kind of take you guys through it. We'll go through more of it. I'm not going to open it up or anything, but everything is complete. I just figured we'd get this on camera here to show you what it is. So how'd you get the game and everything?
So it belonged to my brother's dad, and it's basically, been in Florida for, the last several years. They recently just brought all the stuff up here. So it's kind of just been sitting here for a month. We've been trying to find the right person to give it to, and our mutual person kind of
Made things happen.
and here we are today, trying to get this to the right person, and I think it's going to the right person. So that's really all I can say.
Yeah, I'll do it justice. There's really not much I have to do with it except for the bottom there. But I think you said it wasn't working, right? Like it has issues?
No, we turned it on and we just hear a weird beep, beep, beep sound. So
from the board.
Can't really play anything like that.
Do you know if the monitor turns on?
No, we didn't see the monitor turn on either.
Yeah. Well, these technically, if I open it up, it probably has a Matsushita in there. It's really Matsushita, but we call it Matsushita because they're really hard to work on and they usually have issues. But it's all original. It's Atari, so we're gonna come check it out. So we're gonna go ahead, let's load it up, and we'll come back and get back on the road. Okay guys, so we managed to get it in the house and here it is. So I wrapped it up nicely. I actually got this in myself. I put it on some towels there not to ruin the floor. I usually have moving blankets, but I'm using them there. So typically I put the moving blanket underneath so it doesn't scratch the floor. So I'm leaving it right there. I'm not moving it downstairs just yet. I need some help for that because I'm not crazy. I'm strong and just not crazy. But I was able to get it in the house. It's only one step up, so just back the truck right up to it and it slid right in. So cool. So let me back up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a time lapse of me kind of unwrapping it, and then we'll kind of go through the cabinet really quick, and then we'll bring it downstairs later.
I hate it, I love it, I'm aimless and honest, feel weightless, I'm on it, cause I've waited and I want it. Yeah, and no, I'm not playing around. I knock them all down and out, and they be down for the count. I'm lost, but I'm never found.
Okay, so it's finally unwrapped. I had this wrapped, wow, at least a couple of weeks here. Came back to it. So this is it right here. It's actually going to go downstairs shortly. I'm going to get Bob to help me do that because he's collecting the Outrun today. That's a spare turbo Outrun that I have, not my original Outrun. I'm still keeping the other one. But yeah, he's really excited to get it. So when we bring it up, we're just going to bring this one down since we have the manpower to do it. But this looks like it was home use only from what I understood. Guys had it for a long time. You know, it still is worn here. You can see it has the normal cracks that everything gets here with the control panel, so I'm definitely going to replace that. I'm going to polish up the bolts probably in my tumbler, or just get new bolts. And this thing, you can see it's kind of stuck in one angle. It's really hard. See how it keeps jumping like that? So it doesn't really roll well. So I'm going to get a rebuild kit and probably get a new trackball. The trackballs are super expensive. They're like $45 just for the ball, but it's really worth it. I'll probably polish up that button. I don't think I need to get a new one. Cone buttons, of course. I think Arcade Shop may reproduce them now, but still I'm going to keep the originals. I'm sure they're fine. Glass looks good. This up here looks pretty good too. It's all original. And then this may or may not be, I might redo this. I'm not really sure yet. But it seems to be an okay shape. It's not perfect shape, but I could get the reproduction where it, you know, folds over and stuff. So we'll see how it is. I'm not really sure what I want to do. And then I'll touch up little areas like that. But that's not really important to me. This is original. It's kind of patina and it looks decent. You know, again, the grill looks really good. And then, you know, we'll see the rest. So this is the side. It's in nice shape. It has a little nicks here and there, right here and here. But other than that, it's in really, really nice shape. So it's just a little dirty. You can see here, there's some dirt here where people handled it. But I'm going to go ahead and use Magic Eraser and just brighten up the colors. You can see there's dirt over here. So, especially on the bottom there. All this here, that's going to come out with Magic Eraser. And that's it. And then the back, you know, it has all the serial numbers and everything it's supposed to have. Looks to be in really nice shape. Has the original back door. And the inside is pretty immaculate as well. Now this down here, we're going to examine that later. I'm probably going to change that out right away. But that's a frayed plug. I want to make sure there's no shorts because I'm not really sure. I just took it as is. So it's really untested. The guy said it was making some beeps. I'm assuming those are RAM errors, sequential beeps, you know, so yeah. So that's it. So let's bring it downstairs. We'll wait for him to come. We'll kind of get it down there. Once we have it downstairs, we can work on it at our leisure where we can open up the back. I'll show you guys the inside. And then we'll replace the power cord and fire it up and see what happens. So, okay guys, so it's about a couple weeks later. So the deal that Ian and I worked out, that's the guy who owned the Millipede. I guess through a mutual friend or a friend who I guess linked us up. He needed help restoring his Galaxian. So I went and took a look at it that day. You know, actually before I had gotten the cab, I swung by, I was in the area. Looked at his cabinet and looks like the monitor was dead. That was the K4600 that you guys will see that I repaired in a previous video. If you want to see the link to that, actually it was when the flyback got swapped. It's right here. But anyway, I ended up fixing that monitor, and we're actually going to head to his house. I have a couple more tools. We're going to do a little more restoration to his cocktail. It really means a lot to them sentimentally. So we worked out a deal, and the deal that we worked out was that I'd pay him $200 and that I would help him restore his cocktail, which was really important to them. It had a lot of sentimental value again, like I said. He's going to talk more about it when we get there, but it's really cool, the whole story behind that, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just let it go. But anyway, we're heading there now. We're going to drive to New Jersey. We're just going to hang out for a little bit, and we're going to just do stuff together and get this thing going. So, you know, that's how it works. You got to pay it forward sometimes where you help people out. So we basically bartered, and I'm bartering my skills on how to fix something in order to get, instead of paying the money. So yeah, so I'm going to head out there now, on my way. So we'll travel and we'll see you when we get there. Okay guys, so here it is. This is the monitor that we worked on in another episode. Again, if you want to see it, just click on the description. I'll have a link to that. This whole thing was all messed up, as you guys know, where it had the hole in it. All restored, works perfectly. And we're here with Ian and Adam. These are the guys who wanted this thing restored. This is a Galaxian Cocktail. It's in pretty decent shape. The board looks really clean and stuff, and it's really nice. It does have some flaking that we pointed out, but he's going to eventually replace this, I guess, over time. But for now, it works, so we're going to stick it in there and get this thing inside. So, but before we start, let's find a little bit about the history of the game. So, why do you guys want this restored?
This thing's been around my entire life. So I'm 33. This was built, you can see over here, in 1979. So it's never not been a part of my life. My grandpa and I used to play this. He passed away when he was 79, but we lived together for a very long time, and we would always play. Shortly after he passed away, the game just stopped working. So it's kind of just been out of play for
Wow.
15 years now, I think.
Yeah. So
we're excited to get it
we got to
going
thank
again.
Jason. Jason's the guy who got us all together. You guys have seen him. He's had other videos with Star Wars, and he gave me the Ms. Pac-Man and stuff. And we worked on a lot of stuff. We're working on stuff this weekend as well coming up. But he got us all together, and he said, hey, man, they need something repaired. You know, it's a shame to have it just sit there and do nothing, so why don't you go ahead and help him out? And then we worked out a deal with the Millipede, which is finally in my house.
How's that working?
It's not working yet. I haven't plugged it in at all. Haven't gotten to work on it. I just unwrapped it, right? You said it was mummified.
Yep.
Ian helped me load it up earlier in the episode. But yeah, so let's get this thing put in. I know you guys are dying of anticipation to see if it works, but that does work. There's other videos on it, and we'll stick it in and we'll play some games. Okay, so we opened it up and we saw that the counter is in there. I don't think we really checked it. Let's see. So it looks like 19,438. So if you want to calculate that on your, do it times 0.25 on your calculator there.
So $4,859.50.
That's crazy.
Let's see if any of those.
And most of it was home use, right? So
Mostly
like,
home use, yeah.
yeah, so this is like, I guess it was out in the field for a while.
So yeah, he would have gotten this about mid-80s, probably 85 or so, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So all that money was made from 79 to
Wow.
the early 80s, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he only charged us every now and again.
Yeah, he only charges 50 cents.
50.
Right. The other thing I'm looking at here is the bulbs. We just took one out here because we're going to go up to the hardware store or to the auto parts store, and we're going to grab this bulb. It's the, it's not the bayonet, it's the opposite, the wedge one. Wedge bulbs. I think these are 12 volts. What we'll do is we'll test it to make sure. No, it doesn't make sense putting it back. You're going to replace it. But yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll clean it up. So right now, this is in its original state. So you can see the before, and we'll show you the after. Can't wait to see it. Real quick, I'm going to pull this up here. And this is the top here. Also, we're going to clean this up. It hasn't been cleaned or anything. We're going to get that all clean. I don't think we need to paint it. And then again, we'll show you the condition of the glass once we put it on top with the brackets as well. All right, let's put this sucker in. Okay guys, so we were down in the basement and my buddy Bob and his friend actually helped grab the Outrun. Man, it took us forever to bring that thing upstairs. That thing weighed a ton, but we got rid of the Turbo Outrun, and in its slot we're going to start an Atari row. So we have the Rolling Thunder on the left and the Atari Millipede here. So I was actually going to quit this video and stop it right now, but I'm like, you know what? Let me go the extra mile. I have to know if this thing works. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out the power cord. It's frayed. I have one right here that I'm going to throw in. This is just typical 8-foot power cord that you can get at like Lowe's, and it's 16 gauge and it works perfectly. It's long and everything. It has the ends already on it, as you can see if I take it out. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in line with that and get rid of the frayed one, and then we'll start testing it just to see if it boots up. All right, so let me go ahead and open it up. I think there's just a couple screws, maybe just this one even. So let's see, will that open it? No, there's one here too. Put that on the side. And then this lock obviously needs to be replaced. I'll do that soon. Let me see if I'll just put this on the side here. All right, so let's take a peek inside. So this does have the original Matsushita monitor. You can see it right there. Very unique looking. I believe this is just focus. I have to really study up on it. I'm not really positive. I've never worked on this monitor before. So I'm going to kind of leave it alone for now. Hopefully it will boot and start up and post and all that stuff. But this is really cool. This is actually a cage that comes with the Atari games. Doesn't come with all of them. Usually this one can be used for either the single or the multiple stack boards. The first Millipedes I don't think came with it, but then the later ones did. You could actually take this off and connect it directly to the board, but since it has it, I'm just going to leave it as is. May need to clean the connectors and stuff. But in the meantime, you know, everything else looks pretty clean. What I'll do is probably just vacuum it out. I popped the cord inside. You could see it got run over and frayed, I guess, through when people moved it beforehand. I did not do that. I guess the people before did, so, you know, not really sure how it got like that, but it is frayed. You can get one that plugs directly into here, where you unplug it. You actually get it at Arcade Shop. They have one. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to splice it right into this cord right here. I actually want to look to see if this thing would be... I mean, it doesn't look broken. It's just, you know, I don't want to chance it though. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get rid of this. You know, it's over here too. Who knows if this is, this here is causing a short. But I'm going to replace it. We'll do that right now. Once I do that, we'll, let me put this back over here because now it's back out. You can actually slide that in there. Once that happens, I'm probably going to disconnect the PCB from here, and we'll just do some voltage tests just to make sure we're at least getting the correct voltages out of this and the AR. Don't know if it has to be rebuilt. I do not have a rebuild kit on hand. What I may do is get my friend Jason, who's coming up this weekend, maybe to grab it, and he can just get a rebuild kit, or he could just bring a spare that he has, just to see if that's the issue. But we're going to test voltage on that. We're going to do that really quick now with this unplugged, of course, because I do not want to damage the PCB, just in case. Can hurt. And, you know, hopefully we'll see right away if this has neck glow or not. What I can do is connect my TPG to this just to see if it has any life at all. And if it does, then we know the monitor works and that the PCB does not. So we'll have to troubleshoot that. But I'm pretty sure he was saying that the monitor didn't work either. But I'm not really sure, so we'll find out. We'll probably test voltage here as well. So I'll disconnect that before I do it. We'll test to make sure it's 120 going into here, and then we'll just troubleshoot it from there. So yeah, so let's get working. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just take this cord and change it out. Okay, so I grabbed it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and trim it. So these are definitely too long here, so I'm just going to snip them off here. I'm going to actually snip them inside the cabinet because I plan to vacuum it out later. And I'm making sure that these little pieces don't fall anywhere near where they can get shorted. So now I'm just twisting it together. Now I'm just gonna take, I have a whole bag, there's like 100 in here. Or there was at one time, I used a lot. So let me go ahead and take out 3 of them. And I can't remember what size these are, but they're just the standard, you know, ones for power, the ones you use like in monitors, for the Molex connectors on them. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go through a tutorial on this. I'm gonna repin my Smash TV. I'm gonna repin my Ms. Pac-Man, so we'll have plenty of these. But this tool does it all in one shot. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. That one came out really good. All right, so that's all 3 of them. So now that I have all this together, I'm going to take the one that's on here, and I can start taking these out one at a time. So we're going to say where the point starts, it's like pointing up. It's going to be black, green, and white. So I'm going to quickly just take them out. That one's giving me trouble. Let me try this one. Yep. The green one. Let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. So there it is. Nice and solid. I am going to take this out now. If I can get it off. This thing is totally, I'm not going to be able to take this little zip tie off, but I'm going to reuse it, I mean. So I'll just throw it in there. And of course, this should, oh man, oh, I barely squeezed. I got lucky there. Normally you're supposed to do it first, but cool. Let's go ahead and plug that in. All right, so that's in, nice and brand new. Let's put the little thing here where this kind of slides in. All right. And I do have to build some sort of strain relief like it had. Okay, so I kind of jerry-rigged this thing here where I just put a zip tie through it. I'm gonna see if I'm able to screw this in. There's a screw already there. And this is really just for strain relief. Let's see. Oops, wrong way. All right, so that should work. And let's see if I can get a good angle here. I guess that'll work. So I want to be able to hold it in place so it doesn't move, you know, if this gets yanked or anything like that. Let me cut this off. All right. I'll throw that in there because I'm going to vacuum later. Cool, so that's it right there. That way if it pulls on that and it's not going to do anything to that. I might put another one in the future. I have one that I can grab from somewhere. And then this slides right in there. So I'm going to take this out. It's just a fuse. Let me see if I can go up for you guys. Okay. So I'm just taking that out. I'm just going to lay it flat. I'll lay it right there where there's no metal. And let's see. If it beeps, it's good. Yep, it's fine. So let me go ahead, put that in. Never go by just looking at it saying, oh, it looks fine. Because sometimes it'll look okay and it won't test good. Okay, so we're at a good angle here. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the cage, the PCB here. This little ceramic piece should stay in there. I'm going to make sure it does. Whoever had this before, I doubt they even took this off, because if they did, they wouldn't have, you know, that's just to make sure it's keyed the correct way so it goes in the right way. Whoever had this before would have probably lost that little piece. But it looks good. I'll leave that off, and then I got to look at the pinout in the diagram, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to use ground, and then one of these is going to be the voltage, but we're not going to test that just yet. We're actually going to test the AR, which is right there. We're going to test 120 volts for the monitor, which I'm actually unplugging. And what else can we do here? Yeah, let me look up the pinout just in case for this, and I'm going to see what the voltages should be, and then we'll come back and then we can test it and turn it on. Okay, so I did some research. I have it on my phone. I actually looked at Mike's Arcade, and he has it like listed right there with all the pinouts and everything. So it ranges from 5 volts to plus 22, minus 22, 10.3, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and just set my multimeter. What I'm going to do first, I'm just going to set this to AC voltage. And I'll just try to put it somewhere. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to test the monitor up here. It's just the plug that's sticking out. I want to make sure it's at 120. And it is right now, it's 120.7 or 6, so it's perfectly fine. So that means the monitor is getting voltage. So we're good to go. If it's getting 120 up there, it's getting it down there, so I'm not going to test it down there. And let's see what else I can do here. Let's go to AC voltage. I'm sorry, DC voltage. And I'm going to try to set it up so you guys can kind of see it a little bit. Okay, that's 5.16 volts, so that's right. And now let's see if I count down 1, 2 down, and that's going to be on the solder side. It's going to be plus 22, so the solder side would be this side over here. Now how many do I count down? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 1, 2. I'm doing like a balancing act here. 1, 2, 3. It's 24.3. It's a little high, but it's still around 22. And the one below it should be negative 24. Okay. And then if I go down more, I'm going to count 1, 2 from the bottom. Should be plus 5. That's right, 5.16. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom. Should be 10.3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So this one right here. And I don't see anything. It's supposed to be 10.3 volts, unless I'm on the wrong side. I don't think I am. That's strange. All right, well, let's see. 10.3 or plus 5, it says in parentheses, so I'm not really sure what that is, but 1, 2, so that's ground, and then plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be the 5th one on the solder side. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's actually nothing in there, so maybe that pin isn't used. All right, so I'm okay with that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to change angles here, and we'll kind of test the AR board there. Okay, so I tried to get a better angle here. I actually have these really cool clips that actually go on here, where you can actually grab it. It's really easy. They just switch out right on your... So I have these clips right here, right on the multimeter. It's really neat. You just switch these out right here. It's like a set. It's like 30 bucks and it comes with all different types. I got it because I was tired of just trying to hold it and balance it and use chopsticks all the time. So let me go ahead and pop this on here. Let me look here. I think that's ground, yep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hook that on there. See, I don't have to hold it. And I wanna try to get this where you guys can see it. That's the trouble with this multimeter. All of them, like, you know, you really don't have any hands. What I'll do is I'll hold it because I can just hook these in. So right now it's set for DC voltage and I want to go to a different test point here. And it's really hard to see. Let me see if I can get more light in there. It says speaker 1 and then it says 10.3 volts DC and ground. So I'm going to go ahead and hook it on the bottom here. This here is 10.3 volts. And the multimeter says 14.59, so that's not right. So most likely this error needs to be rebuilt. So let's try another test point here. We'll keep it on the ground there. Let me just remove it. Let's see here. So I'm not going to plug in the board. I don't want it to get messed up. Where's the other one? I think that says something. Let me check it out. It's really hard to see. I'm sorry I'm blocking you guys. Yeah, so that's a little high. I don't know where the rest are. I could have sworn when I was doing the asteroids, maybe it's because it's a different AR, but there were different voltages on here. You know what? I'm going to skip it for now. What I am going to do though is I'm going to plug in the monitor. Okay, so I have everything unplugged and I'm just going to grab the little input here. I'm assuming it's on the right. I have to really look. No, it's actually on the left. RGB and then the 2. And these fail all the time. This connector is really horrible. So, what's cool how it has different ones depending on which monitor you have. It has it all down here. But we're going to go ahead and put that down. I'm going to put RGB right in there. And the sync right next to it. And what we'll do is we'll check to see if we have neck glow. I did get 120 from here when I tested earlier, so we'll see. Really, I'm really concerned about the monitor to see if it works. It's my main deal, so let's check it out. Plugging it in. And you heard that? That means it has life. And there's neck glow. Look at that. Check it out. We have neck glow. Can you believe that? Can you see that? Big time neck glow. So I'm going to look in the front. There's going to be no image, of course. It is white. So guess what? We have a working Matsushita monitor. Awesome. So let me go ahead and turn on my TPG. Oh, that's telling me that my multimeter was on. All right. All right, let's see if we get a signal here. I'm turning it on. Oh, we're out of sync, but could be that I just got to move the wires around. So let me set up the tripod and we'll try to get this thing to work. Okay, so I have the monitor set up. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And I'm just going to mess around with sync. It could be that it's not set correctly. I wonder, I did mess around with the dip switches, so there we go. So the fact that it's curved like that means that the sync isn't set correctly. So I got to figure out what's going on here. Hang on, let me mess around with the dip switches a little bit. Yeah, it's not supposed to be curved like that. And that's because of the sync. I'll tell you right now, that's what it is. Let's see if I can do it there. There we go. Just a couple dip switch settings on my actual TPG right here. And it's good. So probably needs to be degaussed. I can go ahead and do that now. Let's see if I can get it. I kind of just go a little bit far away here. Turn it on, you go close. You just go all around in all the corners. Not too long, and then you go away and you let go. And there it is, it's fixed. So this thing is awesome. Don't use a drill. That's my PSA of the day. Drills they don't really work too well. and you could really damage it permanently. So there you go, it's all set. So let me go cycle through. It's definitely gonna need a cap kit. I do have a cap kit for this monitor, but really psyched that this works. Really, really psyched. I had a feeling, you know, people say the monitor didn't work. I don't know if it was the plug, maybe it's because I replaced the plug. But obviously this is a horizontal monitor turned sideways, so that's why it's going down. It looks like the flyback's set up too high, but I'm not sure if that's, and look, even, wow, it even looks good with the, I'm looking close here. And there's really, that's spot on. I'm gonna try to zoom in so I can show you guys. And don't forget, the monitor is also very dirty, so I gotta clean it. But if I were to zoom in here, the convergence is really good. See, there's that, you can't really see the different colors and everything. It's really, actually, really, really good everywhere, the whole screen. So people swear by this monitor. Some hate it, some love it. Mine's working, so I'm loving it right now. I will recap it to make it sharper. I'm probably going to turn down brightness. I feel it's a little too bright right now. But, you know, the colors and everything are vibrant, which means the tubes are all firing properly. Look at that. That thing looks awesome. But the AR is definitely off. I'm not even sure I'm measuring it correctly, to be honest. So I wonder, yeah, I'm not going to plug it in. I'm not going to chance it, because if I'm wrong and I can't plug it in, it could make more damage. You know, it could be beeping. It has consecutive beeps. That's what the guy was saying. And I think that's because of some RAM that needs to be replaced. That very well could have been blown up by this AR. So I'm not going to plug it in. Okay guys, so at this point, I think I'm going to stop this video. I'm gonna kind of mess around with the board. I actually pulled the board out a little bit just to see, you know, what was going on, reseated stuff. But I'm still nervous to connect it because the AR is not measuring correctly. It's a little high, and I really don't want to mess it up. But the guy was saying it was doing consecutive beeps, which means if it's a RAM error. So I'm wondering if something blew because it was too high. But I definitely want to rebuild the AR, so I'm going to go ahead and order the parts, and then we'll just continue this in the future to get it working. But it is in beautiful shape. I'm glad you guys came along for the ride, and I was able to get this monitor, you know, functioning, which is really, that's kind of a relief. That's like 50% of the relief right now. Okay guys, so thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. You guys have been awesome. If you have any comments or tips on this game, if you guys own one, just let me know. My buddy Jason is coming over. He has a Millipede at his house, so he's going to come help me with it to take a look at it. Probably do some measurements on the board if it's okay to plug in, but he's going to bring some spare AR, so maybe we'll get this thing up and running this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter as well. I have been posting pictures about this, so you guys can see you know, what I've been working on. And I'm also on Instagram as well, so go ahead and follow me on those too. And of course, I have the apparel, which always supports the channel if you guys want to, you know, support me and just go around bragging that you like DeLuSioNaL's arcade. So that's fine by me. Okay, guys. So I guess we'll end this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love doing these arcade pickups with this arcade series, Arcade Hunting. And I'm planning to do more in the future, including the barn find, which I'm still editing at this point. So just a lot of work and no time. So hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you next time. Take care.